Hello everybody, happy Easter to all of you. Welcome to the second episode of Race Report with myself, Felix Rijhnen, and my friend and Powerslide teammate Bart, who will be with us in any second. Today we want to talk about one of the real monuments in inline-speedskating, which is the famous Trophée de Trois Pistes, or also called Free Tracks race in the south of France. I'm just looking for Swingsy, and he should be here any second.
Hey Felix.
Hey man, what's up? I'm good. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Good to see you.
It's a nice Sunday today.
Yeah.
Well, looking to the circumstances, of course.
It's starting to get a little bit painful. I feel like really feeling like all those races and weekends passing by. I mean, last week we talked about the Berlin Half Marathon. Today we want to talk about Trophée de Trois Pistes, famous track race in the south of France, and another one of the real classics in inline speed skating. And
yes.
Another weekend where we can't be on our skates and can't compete.
Yeah, I think the more we do this, the more painful we're gonna feel. Especially now looking at Trois Pistes, it's like we'll say in the next minutes. It's Trois Pistes is always with the weather circumstances. You don't know what's gonna be, and it's early in April usually. So, and now if you look outside, the weather is just so great, and then it hurts of course to not race at this moment.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, let's talk us a little bit about what makes this race or this event so special. Basically, first edition in 1987, so before we were even born. And
yes.
since then, I think it's been running every year, and
I think so too. I checked it. Yeah.
Got quite an impressive list of winners. I got it here. I hope you can see it.
Yeah, just if you look at that list, and you know that it's just an amazing race, and that's why it's such a classic. Of course, you see a lot of French flags, and that's how we also know that it's maybe the most important race for a French skater, besides maybe World Championship. But you see also some Colombian winners. The last one is here, Arias Fabriana, of course.
Yeah.
And Cheche, she won a lot, many times. I think in the men there was Betancourt who won it too, as a Colombian.
Yep.
So, and you have some USA guys, Chet Hedrick who won the race. Jessica Smith, she won it. So it's all over the world, and I think that's what makes it such a special race. It's just everybody's coming there, and everybody who's at some level in speed skating knows what Trois Pistes is.
Yeah, true. I mean, first of all, the setup is really unique. So you have 3 days of racing, and you race on 3 different tracks in 3 different cities, all in the south of France. We always start in Pibrac, next to Toulouse, on a 166 meters parabolic cement track, super tricky, super slippery.
Probably the most tricky for all of the 3 of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Usually it starts there with something like a 5K flat race, or sometimes 8K in the past. And it's straight into the action, as you said. The level is always high. You call it before, when we talked, you call it the holy grail for every French skater, and basically that's how it feels to me.
Yeah. That's what Trois Pistes is all about.
They really they all want to win it. They come out peaking, and lots of them have families there, or they have all their friends there, and that you can really feel how much it means to them. And that's what it also makes tough, I think, for guys like us coming in there. And
for sure. And that's also, I think they've raced it from when they were skating, from the first time they skated, and from the first year they start racing. Every French skater is in Trois Pistes, and they first peak at Trois Pistes, and then they peak at championships, and it's only those 2 times in the year. And and especially all the 3 tracks, they're very tricky. They're not the tracks we're used to skate them, or not anymore at least. So that makes it just a really hard and really tough race. But it makes it also very spectacular, I think. Every day is a new setup. Maybe one day it rains, and then I've had it that the first day is terrible, and then the third day is just a beautiful summer day.
And you get sunburned completely, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really freaky sometimes. So we talked about Pibrac, and then the second track, it's always a bit of a drive to Valence d'Argent. I think it's around 160, 180 k's from there. So there's even some travel involved between those cities. And you actually gave me the tip and said that there was a world championship in Valence also.
Oh, yes.
I found a little clip which I want to show. Maybe tell me if you recognize some of those guys.
Yeah, of course, leading. It's Pierre-Davide Romani, I think, and it's Chet Hattrick behind. Pascal Bouillard getting in second. Yeah. Most of the guys, they were just before our time, and I think this is a final sprint of a points race. Chet won it. So many guys you recognize. I think we saw Boucher maybe in there, or Shigel, I think. Yeah.
With the Frenchies, I wasn't super sure, but I was also the same. Like straight away, saw Pierre-Davide Romani. Really, great Italian skater, a bit from the past.
Very good track skater.
Yeah, super skinny guy, fast and strong. And then Chet, obviously, the man of that era, basically.
Yeah, I checked the results of that championship, and I think he had 7 gold medals there. So that's of course very special, and super
impressive.
He has 15 total. So it was. I think the year after he still raced the World Championship in Ostende, and those were his last 2 years at world's level. So
and then the switch
to ice skating.
Yeah, obviously became the Olympic champion as well. So super hugely successful there as well. Yeah.
Probably in one of the next talks or race reports, we'll have it more about him as well. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he definitely left a mark in the sport, like no question.
Yeah, I think in all the big races we're gonna, like Rosguera, he has won there as well. So and he won in Trois Pistes as well. So
so that was the second track, Valence d'Argent. Unfortunately, last year we couldn't race there. We had to race on the road course just around it. Also not a bad lap, but I really like the track there. And then the third one is in Goujon-Mestras, close to Bordeaux. Got a new paint, new coating recently.
How long has it been? 3 years now? Or 2
around.
years?
I guess Timothy, our teammate, would know better because that's his home track.
His home track.
He lives just around the corner from there. Maybe I ask you this question now. Like, what's actually your favorite out of those 3 tracks?
That's a hard question. Oh no, it's not hard. I think the second one for sure.
Yeah.
Second one is like the geometry and how you skate on it is pretty similar as Heerde used to be. I think those 2 tracks, if you skate on them, and they feel kind of similar. And of course, in the past stuff, I loved skating on Heerde. Some really good results there, and the feeling in the corner when you go super high speed and you can. You get pushed on the top of the parabolic, and that's where you make all the speed. That's just an amazing feeling, I think. And always like the last 3 laps of an elimination are on the track, full gas up there, and the crowd is 2 meters up you, 2 meters there. So that's just amazing to race on there.
Super special. I would have chosen the same track actually, also Valence. And but I'm skating quite I'm getting quite good results on Pibrac always. I don't know why. I don't really like the track, but somehow it works pretty well. I got also
maybe just because
Yeah,
I think Pibrac, it's just a track where you just have to go and keep crossing and don't think. And for your style of skating, I think that's also pretty good. So
maybe. Maybe.
Just
I
full
have
dive into every corner.
I have a video from last year actually, from the first day from Priprak, and it's a little bit longer, but maybe we just keep
Priprak, yes.
talking during. So I don't know if you recognize, but this was the flat race, so the 5K I think it was.
Too bad you didn't show it earlier because we missed your perfect lead out.
We'll see it later. So yeah, Swingsy just dropping everybody in the last 2 or 3 laps. And for me, this is, you are skating those tracks like nobody else. Like those parabolic tracks, it's quite special how you skate there. So this is later that same day. That is later that same day, during the 3Ks. 3 kilometer race, also flat, but not only one time, but 3 times.
Yeah, so it was a new setup last year.
Yeah, exactly. So the women started, they had their first 3 kilometers, then us, then the ladies again, then us again, and always vice versa. And basically, I don't know if you remember, but basically we kind of raced the same tactic 3 times.
Every time, and it just switched a little bit at what time I would attack her.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I went at 4, sometimes at 3, and then you see when I went already.
There was also a funny moment because Mike, the Mexican guy, I don't know if you just saw it, but he hawked like 3 laps too early.
He was pretty wrong in that race. But it was hard, like racing 3 times a final.
Yeah.
In like what would it have been, 30 minutes I think?
Yeah, something like this.
Something like that. But the fun thing that I liked about it, we were allowed to switch wheels in between. Yeah. So we had a time, we had a break, and you could take all your material to the box. And in between the races, you were allowed to change wheels or turn them around or something. And I think we used a few of the races to test what wheel was better. Yeah. And of course, this is I think the last of the 3 of them.
Yeah,
and it's pretty obvious. By then we had the perfect choice.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember we went pretty soft with the wheels. Like I think we had some F2s in there, so 84A for everybody else. And the meta wheels, they just work good on those tracks, and obviously that showed also in the results. And I mean, look at this.
Yeah, here finishing 1 and 2 with Timothy. Yeah, it was a great feeling.
Quite dominant. And I have to say, like after that first day, I was like, damn, this is gonna be a good weekend. Like the boys are all in shape, and we worked like straight away. I mean, this was basically also your first race together with Timothy in the team, I think.
Yes, my first year with first race with Timothy.
Yeah.
And I think just the whole team worked together.
It clicked. Yeah, it was so good.
And Valentin was always up there also. He's a sprinter, of course, and he was up there and helping us. And we just had the power slide train was on nice rails that weekend for sure.
And like you said, it came down also to being well prepared. I think like we had. I remember we had all our wheels like ready with bearings and all harnesses ready to go. So if we would have realized, okay, now in the evening we need different wheels, or we need a different harness, or we just need new wheels because the other ones burned, we were really fast and quick and ready to go. And I think this was also important to be successful in the end. Yeah,
especially that first day, because it was hard to figure out which wheels would have been the best, because now the last year we had some new wheels. We have the Propel since a few years now. Code White, of course, on a track like that is very creepy, and it's a super slippery track. So I think we switched between both of them, and then in the Propel we have the blue one and the green hub.
Yes.
But I think eventually was Propel blue hub the best one? I'm not sure anymore.
That was on Priprak. That was the one we used in the end. In the first race, the 5K, you were still on the green ones, so it was a bit longer and you rolled a bit better. So I think for that it was a good option. But just with the blue Propel, I remember it was just a bit more safe bit more stability
more
in those
grip.
tricky corners, and was a bit easier with that. And
you got a drink too? Cheers,
sorry.
Felix.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. Sundays. Oh.
Yes.
I remember back in the day on Pre-Brack, found an old picture. We were actually using like XGs. I don't know if you remember those wheels.
Yeah, I remember those ones. They were super soft.
Meta XG, super soft.
Yeah, and I think
some of those guys you do know. I think some Belgians.
Quinte, Jora.
Yes, exactly. Also old Power Slide teammates.
Good times.
Yeah, those wheels, XG stands for extra grip, and they were so soft, but it was basically still the only real wheel back then which was grippy enough to use there.
I think it was the best wheel at that point to have grip. Yeah,
for a while it was, and but still, I think now we got a bit better options, few more options to choose from, and that was for sure also one of the keys to last year's success there.
The good wheels for sure.
Yeah,
especially Pre-Brack was very nice with them.
Yeah, in general, I have to say, like I'm in a bit of a love-hate relationship with the free tracks. Like I've come there, I don't know, probably 10 times over the years. Like starting as a junior already. Never when I was super young, because first of all, it was always like a huge trip. Like when we still had to go by car, it was always like to go there was like 1300 from my place, and then travel inside of France and then back again. So you were always doing like 3000 kilometers in that one weekend. So apart from the racing and the competition, just so tough, so hard.
Yeah, it's very hard.
And as you said, you never knew what to expect. Like it could be super sunny. It was often it was
could be
rainy
3 days also.
Yeah. Then you would be wet the first day, and your gear and stuff would never dry off again, and so horrible. Like I remember like some of those years they were really rough, and then it being the first like real track race of the year. Like I remember years I haven't skated on the track.
Race, huh?
Yeah, the hard racing. Also all the Frenchies peaking like crazy, going super fast, and I've had years where I have not been able to skate on the track because the weather in Germany was so shitty, and then you come to a free track, so you skate on Pre-Brack, and it's basically super tough and super hard. And then like one of the probably worst memories I have of that race came a couple of years back when it got broken into my rental car.
On
the third day. I think that year you were not there.
No, my brother was, I think, with you.
Yes. Marty was there with me, and they stole my laptop. They stole my iPad. I had my bachelor thesis on there, which I was normally had to hand in like a week later. Like it got so stressful, and they stole Kathy's passport, so we couldn't fly back the next day because she had no passport, and it was such a like one of the situations like inside a competition which probably pushed me mentally like the hardest. Like that was really really tough.
And you had to skate still after that, you found out, or?
I filed a police report and everything, but I never got anything, and I think
but you still had to race after this?
I think I still raced. Like Kathy didn't line up anymore because she was a bit more stressed than me, but I still I still lined up. I think it wasn't really great results anymore, but at least I was at the start line. And but then obviously also like really really great moments, like finally putting you on that winning list last year was
last year
was definitely one of the great moments. Like
for myself too.
As we touched already, like great team spirit, great group of guys, and for me one of the highlights was also when we stayed the last night at Timothy Lobinot's place. Yeah, with his parents and him, and they were super nice to us, so friendly. We had great rooms and nice dinner all together.
Yeah, usually at that point it's like the third day. Of course, you're tired from all the races, and you're just tired from traveling also. And then usually at that point you still have to travel to a next place and see. Yeah, or you have to wake up really early in the next morning because the 1Ks are always very early, the qualifications. So that makes it always hard. And for us at that point, it just was such a relaxed moment. We were 500 meters from the track or something, and in the evening from Valence we drove there, and we had a nice dinner. We had relaxed time before bed, and then it was you slept in a room, not just any hotel somewhere or it was very nice.
Those hotels normally that's another thing about free tracks. There are always those like Motel 1 not Motel 1 like those super cheap ones, and you basically sometimes you are
or something.
Sometimes you are in a room with free
Formula 1.
and have
I think
like
the first year
like this.
When I still was cadet, I think we went to Formula 1. I don't know if the hotels are still there, but I remember when I was a cadet, I was like 14 years or 15 years, and we stayed in apartment hotels like that. So
those are ones of the tougher times. For me also, free tracks started to get fun when I was able to fly there and didn't need to drive like 15 hours or something like this first to get there, because then basically you would be tired for 2 days already. And one of the memorable trips I did was actually with the Colombian crew we had back then. So I had Cecilia Baena in the car, Christian Diaz Granados, and I think Nicolas Zamudio was also in there. And I was the only driver. So basically back then those guys, they stayed in Grosguerra, and we got a car from Powerslide, and I picked them up, and then we went to France. And going there was still okay. Then, like you said, 3 days of hard racing, and it was like super successful for Cecilia. She was like really good on those tracks. And then on the way back, I think we left like straight after the race, and I just couldn't drive another 15 hours. I was just too tired. And then
I can imagine.
In the end, Christian Diaz Granados was like, "Yeah, come mate, I can drive." And I was like, "What? I didn't know that you have a license." So, yeah, I have a license. I can drive. No problem. It's like, okay. So I let him on the wheel, and we stopped at a gas station, and it started really well, and was all good. Like driving on the highway is not that hard.
It's not too, no.
Yeah, but then there was a traffic jam, and so he had to stop. And when the traffic jam was clearing up, he had to restart again, and he was always choking the engine. Like and it happened like once. It's like, okay. Then turn the engine on again, choked a second time, and then people were already starting behind us to like use the horn, and I'm starting to get sweats, and he was like super nervous. Try the third time, same thing again, like we would not keep moving, and it's like now is a huge traffic jam behind us, and then he would just like open the door and say like, "Man, no, I can't do it. You have to drive." And then we were on the highway, changing driver's seats again, and I had to drive again. So that was one of the things. Like, fuck, Christian.
That's always something when you have the Colombians over. With the Powerslide team, we have it for many years now. Edwin, Boris, so Yeah, for sure. Some more stories we will have for the future.
Chami and those guys.
Chami, always fun to have.
Chami had also one really, really strong year where we raced 3 tracks together. I have also a little video about
was 2018?
Yes, I think so. So let's look at this. This is also from the first day. People Hamilton is the guy leading, then Ewan is in second, and I'm sitting in third.
Team Skates behind you guys.
Yes, exactly.
I think Ewan was very strong that year also. Eh?
Yeah.
Did he win or
he won?
He got second?
He won the overall that year, I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah, and obviously we saw already there that like Chami was basically flying, and then he really showed the week later in Geising, like how strong he was, and yeah, was really good times there.
Yeah, he was very strong, especially leading out and doing a lot of pacing in the front.
Yeah, I mean that's probably his strongest point too. But not even.
Yeah, but
Also cool. One of my favorite moments. Kelly Martinez.
I think that's maybe one of the most epic finals or most memorable pictures of Trois Pistes.
Exactly,
I think. I even think they did it like 3 or 4 times. Hawking like that together at the finish line, and
they were really nice, I think Kelly was a bit stronger actually that year. But Cecilia just had like the smartness and knew how to race and more experience. Yeah. So they were always like really close at the finish, and nice, was a good addition as well. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for me the Trois Pistes is. I can feel the same thing. I have good times, very very good times about Trois Pistes, and also some less times, of course. But I want to start with the beginning. The first year that I was there, I was second year, 2006, second year cadet. We didn't race together. You were 1 year higher at that point, and for me, I think for me that's what Trois Pistes is a little bit about, and it's of course the results you have in senior are very important too, and you see the list there, but. If it's also like a big race for all the youth, and like to discover the new guys and discover how you are yourself, because once you start racing Europeans and World Championships, then you can measure yourself with the rest of the world. But
then you know. But before that, those international races are really important. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Grosgera is one of them. Trois Pistes is one of them. Now Geisingen, of course. But when we were young, Geisingen didn't exist yet. So, races like that are just super important. And I discovered myself also in Trois Pistes. I remember very good. I did the year before was my first European Championships, but I was a pretty small guy, always have been, and I just I was 14, so if you're a little bit later growing, then I have to fight against guys like you. So that was, especially at that age, if you're a year younger, it's just very hard. And
I remember there were guys when I was a junior. There were guys like from Spain. They had a beard like this, and they looked like they were 35 years old, and even I felt like a tiny little dude, and so it was probably for you even a bit tougher back then.
Yeah, that was always very tough, and I think Trois Pistes for me was the race where I discovered I was very good at skating, or that I was able for doing something special, and during those races, it was the first big race of the year as well. I felt pretty good in training and stuff, and I won the first day, I won the second day, and then I was talking with my brother like, how should I race tomorrow? I remember it really well. We were like together in one room, in a hotel room, and he said like, just try and lap the pack. If you can, just do it. And then it was a Mestas, and then it was the first time I lapped the pack, and I just did it. I just attacked. There was a French national team. I was racing against them, and I just thought that just go for it, and I managed to do it, and I really remember it well. And I also think Diogo was there at that moment. I raced a lot with Diogo in the
same age as you, yes.
Same age as me. Nolan was there as well. So yeah, all those guys I raced against, and I think even Diogo was wrong with Hawking, because the laps changed when you left the pack, and it was that's for me always a special, like a very special moment and a really good memory, and that's for me what Trois Pistes is about. Like also for you to learn a lot. I've learned so many things in races like that, and that's you learn to race on 3 different tracks, and you have to get used to it, and even skate in the rain sometimes, and that's the great thing about Trois Pistes. And I would have shown a picture of it, but I couldn't find any, so it's just way too.
I actually
too long ago.
I was there that year as well, and I still remember. Okay. I still remember you, and I mean I knew you before, and I knew your name and stuff.
Of course. Yeah.
But obviously, that moment I was like, "Oh shit! Next year I have to race. Next year I have to race that guy again." Like, fuck! He just left the whole pack. That was it was quite special, quite unique. And actually, I had one of those moments also for myself at the free tracks, because I did my first, basically my first track race in the senior category. I did at free tracks.
Okay. Yeah.
And I remember it was super stressful, because my club they put me on the list at the starting list, and because at free tracks they have not only the juniors and the senior category, they used to have like an under 20 or 21 category.
If you're
yes, and obviously like. I wanted to race with the good guys, like with the big boys, you know. I wanted to race with the seniors.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't come there to race like the juniors from last time.
Like you did before in the junior.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I can imagine.
But because of my age, they put me in the wrong category, and then I tried like 14 days. I remember every day writing like emails to Monsieur Boniton, the organizer of the event, and like he just wouldn't reply to me, and he said he was only talking French, and it was like no changes. If everybody wants something special like this, it's impossible. And like I was almost losing it, because I was like really wanted to take that chance, and in the end it was Arnaud Giquel. The French national coach. Back then he was actually German national coach, and he had good connections to Monsieur Boniton, and he actually helped me to get in, and then I was allowed to race senior category. And actually there was also the year where Presti was there, and where Jan Briadet was there, so like my idols were basically racing there. And I finished in Valence d'Argent. I finished 5th in the elimination race, and that was like that was also for myself, where I thought like yes, like that was a big step. And I mean, you still know the feeling when you come to the seniors as a young guy. You have to really fight for your place in the pack. Yeah, you have to really fight for your place in the pack, and you get no respect and nothing. So it's like you have to be almost like double as strong to really earn a spot there. And that was for me also one of those moments where I thought, okay, I can really like play with the big boys, and I belong there.
I also wanted to talk about the first year as a senior, because for me it was the opposite. Like that was for me one of the down parts about Trois Pistes. I remember it so well. It was the first. I raced that season already in Cartagena with the seniors, and that's I was already in big trouble there. I remember doing the elimination race, the heats. I didn't qualify for the final. So just because skating in the peloton was just a lot different. From junior to senior, and I also think you still have to earn your spot a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
So I came to Trois Pistes with very good experience from in the junior categories. In 2008, I raced there too. I won every race as a junior, so I know how to skate on the track, so that was not a problem.
Yeah, true.
But just I had so much trouble to skate. With all the pushing and fighting. Actually, if you skate in a really big peloton and you don't have you didn't earn any respect yet. If you
don't have the swagger, they just push you out, and there's nothing you can do about it.
They probably thought, oh, this guy is a first year senior. He thinks he can skate everywhere. No, exactly. That's not gonna happen.
And then all the Frenchies work a little bit together as well, like a little bit undercover. Sure. Even if they're not in the same team, they kind of hold together a bit. Yeah, I can really feel you there.
So this is a picture here from back then. You can see me here. I think that's me. Yeah, that was when you were back then. I was skating for Karamodos. And I remember Ferro was there too. Here was my teammate together with my brother Marty. So it was just the first weekend we raced together for in Trois Pistes in Europe for big races, and I think my best placement there was fifth.
Okay.
That was it was still okay. This year I was fourth. You have Yankee Adair, Despo, Ewan Fernandez. He was very good.
That's on Goujon-Mestras before the paint came on.
And I think I finished third or fourth. But I got disqualified for pushing.
Oh no! Okay.
And that was the last race there, and that was like at that point I was a little bit done with Trophée. So I was like, what's this all about? I'm pushed away for 3 days in a row. I didn't, and now I think I went a little bit too early here into the lower part of the corner, and maybe I touched Ewan or Despo at the straight line, but it was. And then I got disqualified for that, and it was actually going to be my best result of the weekend.
That sucks.
It was just I had a tough time also.
But good learning experience for sure.
Very good learning. Yeah, for sure. That's true.
But I know exactly what you mean with like being a bit fed up with Trois Pistes, because I feel like I can do like Trois Pistes, and then I need 1 year without it, and then I come back again. But it's always like, because I don't know, it's such a mixed bag of emotions, and so many things can happen there, and it's just like it's a lot to take. And then you race usually before, and you have still races afterwards. So now the classic season would always be like Berlin half, then you have Trois Pistes, then you have Geising, then you have Grosgero, and then you have Herde. And if you do all of those races, you're completely dead. Like over a month of only competing.
It's just traveling from one country to the other.
That's so tough.
So that's why it just took me. It just took me a while before coming back to Trois Pistes, I think. Also, of course, with ice skating. And Trois Pistes is
true.
Also, like I said last week, it's pretty early in the season, and to go straight on a track race like that, so specific tracks. And with the experience I had there as a senior, I was like, I just start with Geising this year. But then last year went totally different, and I was super happy that I did it. And actually, I was thinking this year again to go there, because we had so much fun there last year, and it's always a hard choice to make. Which races are you gonna race and which not? And I'm very happy we just did it last year, because now it's.
Last year we had a little bit the extra motivation, because it was announced that the World Championship will be on a parabolic track, and because we have no racing on parabolic tracks anymore. So kind of the talk with the team back then was, come on guys, go to France. It's one of the biggest races. It's important for the French market also, and you can prepare for the World Championships. In the end, it all came a little bit different, but as you said, I'm also super happy we did it last year, and let's see, maybe 2021 we go again.
Yeah, we'll be back. Would be nice.
Cool.
Would be nice.
Then maybe I was thinking you could tell me like your your favorite thing about free tracks and your least favorite thing about free tracks?
Favorite thing. I think the technical part. Just skating from the one
tracks.
race to the other. All the different tracks. I think that's just a really good learning experience, and that's also, I think, one of the reasons why the French skaters are very good technically. They're good in on track skating and track races, and most of them are just super good in all different kind of tracks, and especially now that they have the last track on a Vesmaco, or at least on a painted track, and that makes also a difference, mix, I think. Very good mix. And the good part also is that on day 2 and 3 you can skate still if it's raining, because there's a road there, and that makes also the French skaters are good rain skaters, all of them. You don't have many French skaters who are bad in the rain, so that's almost that's for me. That's for me for sure the good part about it. The bad part, I would say the travel. Like we said before, it's pretty far. It's every day you have to travel from one place to the other, or you have to wake up early because you stay in one place and then you have to travel to the other 2 ones. So that's for me that it's too early, because that's why I'm not so many times I've been there in the season. If it would have been like after Heerde, then maybe I would have raced there more, because then it would be easier for me with the ice season. But that's with all the races that are going on at this point in the season. Yeah.
I mean that's right. It makes it always hard for you.
And for you, what's your favorite part?
I have to say, now when I was looking at all the videos and stuff, I would probably say that my favorite part is the speaker. Every year there's the same speaker. He speaks only French, but he creates such a nice atmosphere. And I have to say I really love that. Like the last laps of the races, always the speaker gets crazy, and it creates such a nice vibe. And
I think that's in every really big race super important. Like Trois Pistes is very important and very specific, and it's similar also for me in Grosguero. We'll talk about it in a few weeks, I think. But in Grosguero you have the duo speakers there, and and in Belgium we actually also have my whole youth was the same speaker. Is from Zandvoort, the club there.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
The feeling when I look back at races from Europeans in 2010 or 2009, and even races from 2002, the World Championships were in Ostende then, was the same speaker, and just hearing the voice, and it gives a very special feeling, and I think that's really important for the big races to have.
That's super good. You hear the voice and you get the emotion straight away.
You know where really you are.
And sometimes what I hate about when they change the speaker, then sometimes for me the whole race is a different.
The vibe is gone.
It's gone.
The vibe is kind of gone.
And then
and like down part.
Down part. I mean, you said now already 1 point. I would probably just say the hotels. Like really, they are so crappy. And
I
usually
have one other though.
Yeah,
another down part.
Which is
the kind of the crashes. I think.
That's
you have enough of them in Trois Pistes.
You're right.
Yeah, of course. If you have 3 days of hard racing on very technical tracks, at the end usually people are getting tired, and
always on the last day, right? Always on the last day, the most crashes happen.
Yeah, it's because everybody's just tired from all the races and all the traveling before, and
that's true.
It's also what made my first year hard, I think, because I was just scared to race in the peloton and to crash. That's what I think.
I mean, it's early in the season and you don't want to risk crashing and maybe ending your season already like that.
Yeah, true.
Okay, cool. I think we're kind of done with the part about talking about Trophée de Trois Pistes. I
beautiful
think
race.
beautiful race for everybody. Everybody should do it once in their career. Like if you're a skater,
it's really an experience to do it.
Yeah, if you're a skater, you should go at least one time and get the experience.
Yes, for sure.
Let's switch to the little bit to the next part of race report, and that is when you tell me about your most memorable training session of this week.
Yes, like last week.
Exactly, like last time. I try to keep it continuously.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good, very good. I think, yesterday for sure was a special day for me. Special training. Again, last week I did a training, talked about a training with Jason.
Yeah.
Yesterday I also had a training with Jason.
Okay.
It's like this in Belgium because of the COVID-19. We were allowed to have like one training partner or somebody where you go with running that's not from your own household. So
Jason
with me,
Jason is stuck with you.
Yes. And yesterday we had minute training. I think most of the people know what kind of training that is.
Basically,
so for
one minute
usually,
on, 1 minute off, more or less.
Yeah, 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Usually, I just do it on the roads. It's 15 minutes warm up and then 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 5 times. Then a little break for 5 or 8 minutes, and then the whole thing 3 times, and then cooling down. So, like the total was yesterday a marathon, and it's just really hard. It's just 1 minute
tough,
full, as fast as you can go, and then 1 minute easy. And that's what I also said during the training to Jason. Like, we don't have races now, so we couldn't do the half marathon of Berlin this weekend. Trois Pistes is cancelled, so I told him, we're just gonna do it as a race. Now you have to think it's a race, and every week we will have a hard training, and we just pick it out as awesome. We're gonna look like at this one as a race. And it felt like that. It was really hard. Heart rate max was 186, so it was a good.
Pretty
good
much
feeling.
maxed out. And was Jason able to lead or just sitting behind you?
Usually we did I did the first lead, then he did one, and then he had to sit behind. So
at least
try and
one time, not bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
And what was yours? What was your most memorable training? You had a good week?
I had a pretty good week. A little bit less volume this week, but still some nice efforts. And I would probably say I did a threshold training. As I think similar to what you did, but without the minute on, minute off efforts. Just like around 10 minutes continuously. 2 times, and the cool thing was that Timo, my training buddy, was there with the bike behind me, and
that's nice.
We put a GoPro on the handlebar, and just said just try to follow, and we see maybe we can create some cool footage, and he couldn't stay on the whole time, but most of it. And for me there was what was amazing, looking afterwards at the videos, was how much faster you can go with skates around the corner compared with the bike. Because obviously I never thought about it, but obviously we don't brake. We just you cross or you roll, but you don't brake. You just have to somehow you have to make it work. Or it has to be
super sharp.
Yeah.
But otherwise you don't brake. Actually.
Exactly. And with the bike, Timo is not a bad bike handler, but he always lost in the corners. To me, that was that was quite fun. And
I think because we're lower to the ground, probably have more stability and more grip. Hopefully,
might be because of that. I try to.
Sounds like a fun training.
Yeah, it was cool. Felt pretty good. Didn't get the heart rate as high as you, but it was still a nice effort. I will try to edit the video when I have a little bit more time.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah, good. Then we also got a couple of questions in from listeners, and also to all of you. If you have any questions for Bart or me or both of us, then you can post them now, and we will use our last 10 minutes to answer a few of them. So Val Pacino asked us on YouTube, which part of your technique did you need to work for the hardest? And what is your least favorite type of training? So, do you have an answer to that?
Part of technique, I had to work the hardest. I would think corners for sure. Corner training is super important for us for track races, and I think when I skate on the track, I'm just most focused on my corner and where is my hip compared to my skates, and all those kind of things are just, that's what I'm thinking of most, and I think that's one of the most important things if you want to do track races.
You need to have good corners.
Yes, very good corners. And then, what was the second part of the training?
What your least
hate?
Favorite kind of training, yeah?
I think starts. That's one of the trainings I did this week again after the whole winter without starts, at least on inlines. When my groins are for 2 days were sore, my hip flexors. So I'm not a big fan of it, but it's necessary also, because even if you're a marathon skater or you want to do a good race, then it's important you have quick feet or you can accelerate fast, and all those things are just important, and you can train them also doing starts, the quick feet and make speed fast. So that's one of the trainings of course we also have to do.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you on that. I mean, I don't really have a dedicated start training, but sometimes like shorter sprints or sprinting from almost a standing start, that's for me like super painful and hard, and it really takes a couple of times, as you said, to get used to it, that not afterwards your groins and everything are completely fucked. So I would agree on that. And for the first question,
the technical part,
if I look back a little bit about like how I grew up and stuff, it's maybe not something which I would recommend to focus on for everybody, but I'm kind of thankful for it that we did it like this, and that's the hawk, like the split at the finish line.
Yes.
Because when we were kids, like every training, like at the end of the warm up, at the end of the cool down, and we would always hawk each other, and we were really like trying to improve that every time. And I don't know how many races like my hawk saved me, but a lot. And I think for me it was quite helpful that I learned this when I was younger. And I mean there were guys like Saturato. They couldn't hawk for shit.
Couldn't do it. No,
they lost world championships and everything because they can't do a proper hawk. And so I think for kids that's also something which is fun to work on. Like hawking is cool.
We used to do it also similar like you. We always did it in indoors. Like it was actually combined with the training I had most start. So with us was usually like everybody is on the line on the back of the training hall, and then we have to do a normal start, and then you have to be on one knee, and every single start we did. After 20 meters, there was a finish line, and there you had to hawk. So every single time you did it, so you did like 10 hawks in one training, and that's also
that's a good way. That's a good way, yeah. And also to use a small indoor place, like it's a good thing.
Because then if you crash, it's not the worst.
Yeah, true, and then it will automatically happen, like the crashing. Then we have a question from Tomek on Facebook. And he's asking if we could compare our training sessions and what's common, what's different, and why. It's not super easy to answer this one, but no. I would say in general, I think our trainings are not too different. Because whenever, like Bart and me, often when we prepare for a European Championship or World Championship or whatever, often we train like the last 10 days or however long we are at that place, we train together, and basically our sessions mix and match pretty well. There's usually you do a bit more of the speed stuff, like something like starts, for example.
I think so too. Yeah,
which I don't need to focus on too much because, for me, I don't even race a 1K, for example. While this for you is one of your key events. I mean,
Yes.
So that would be for me one of the similarities or not so much similarities. And then I would say in general that you train at a bit higher intensity than me. Would you agree?
Oh. Yeah.
Like for example, if we look at the bike ride, for example.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. That I push it a little bit harder. Yeah.
I think I probably go a bit longer, but you focus a bit more on the intensity.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Not like sometimes you did your crazy bike rides of 300 kilometers. I'm not up to that.
No. One day we do it together.
No thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Bucket list, Swingsy, bucket list.
Yeah.
But I think I know also why. And I think for me, you are somebody who can tolerate like more intensity and more load than me. So maybe you can get away with pushing a bit harder during your long skates or during your bike rides than me. And if I would do that, it's not a question that I cannot do it, but I would be dead for the hard session like later in the week.
Yeah, true.
And I think that's one of the things we do differently, and obviously also there is a reason why we do that differently.
Yeah, I think that's also it's kind of in the feeling how you do those sessions, and for me, like a long skate, indeed, I always have trouble to go easy. I always like to go a little harder and harder, and then I see the average. I'm like, okay, we can do 35 to do it. Let's push the last 10 minutes or something like that. Because the easier part I do on the bike, But and the other part I think we have different is of course the winter ice skating. That's definitely the build up towards the season. It's of course a lot different, and maybe that's why you still I would not say peak during the first part of the season, but have some harder weeks in between the races, like the different big races, and rest a little bit for them. Compared to me, of course,
that's true.
I just had 2 weeks break after the ice season, and then I just have to keep training until the next World Championships on inline. So that's a little bit different, I think.
Yeah, one of the things. I mean, we have only 2 minutes left, but one of the things I always notice is like when we train together before Geisingen. So basically before the event next week, I'm always like doing like one hard effort in that week, or we do it together. And then I'm kind of like trying to chill out a bit and try to recover before the race. Where you basically you keep on training, and one more flying lap and one more interval session. But I understand why, because you haven't been much on your skates, and for you it's a lot about the feeling. You have the fitness and you have the speed, but you need to find the feeling, and the only way you can get that is by skating. So
especially always that week before Geising, and it's. You still have. I haven't skated on the track a lot, and then you know in the race it's gonna be a lot of 16ers, 17ers. Then you have to do a few of them and get used to the 10K pace, and that's why I do the hard sessions in the week before. So
Yeah, you're right. Last minute, Swingsy, then the stream is automatically stopping. Man, that was fun again. Episode 2 of the race report. Super, super cool. I'm sorry we can't answer more questions, but the stream is on Instagram is maximum 1 hour. Exactly. We will be back next Sunday, again, 6 o'clock on the Powerslide channel or on Bart's Instagram. You can follow us. I will try to put this video also on YouTube if it's interesting for you. Just needs a few days. And I want to thank you, Swingsy. Next week we talk about Geisingen International, also one of the really nice races. and lots of good
Awesome
memories and stuff to talk about. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Happy Easter to everybody.
You too,
that was really cool. And
Yes.
see you again next time. Bye bye.
See you, everybody. Bye.